rest in peace. Charlie Watts, the drummer of the Rolling Stones, passed away on Tuesday at the age of 80. He had recently dropped out of some shows on their upcoming North American tour due to health reasons. We talked about that last week on the show. And it turns out, I guess this might have been more serious than we initially thought. Charlie Watts has been the Stones drummer since 1962. Was a huge part of their sound, obviously, for 50 plus years. You know, he was the rock of the Rolling Stones, the timekeeper, of all accounts, a really great guy. There were some tributes online from various people, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and the list goes on, of course. So, you know, we are both pretty solid Rolling Stones fan. I wouldn't say I'm as big a Rolling Stones fan as I am to say the Beatles, but I am a big Rolling Stones fan. We've covered a lot of Rolling Stones stuff at our gigs in the past, whether that be You Can't Always Get What You Want or Let It Bleed or Jumpin' Jack Flash. So we've covered our fair share of Rolling Stones songs. And Charlie Watts was, you know, I put this on our Instagram yesterday. We talked about legends, right? And legends is a word that you don't want to throw around casually because somebody's really got to live up to that expectation. And Charlie Watts, or any member of the Rolling Stones or any of those bands, he was a legend. This guy was a rock and roll original. You know, this guy went all the way back. When you think back to the 60s and when the Rolling Stones started as a blues infused rock and roll band, you know, that the world was different back then, and he, through his music that he did with the Stones, really changed rock music for the better. The fact that he was still going strong all the way to the age of 80 and was going on the road with them is unfortunate that he wasn't able to do the tour or do some more shows with them. But what a legacy, really, when you think about it. Does a legacy get any better than Charlie Watts?
He was a gentleman, my friend. He was a gentleman. And he was a metronome, kind of. But Charlie Watts, fantastic drummer. The backbeat of that band, that blues, soul, rock and roll band from England. It's such a shame, you know. He's 80 years old, obviously. So, you know, he's lived a crazy life, has had a crazy career, has played on so many hit songs. It's just, it's very sad, but He was 80 years old, and, you know, he lived the life of someone who lived to 200. So, you know, like, it's crazy, very sad, but what a legacy to leave behind.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to think of some of my favorite songs that Stone songs that he played on, and Jumpin' Jack Flash. We talked about that. We played that in our band. Let It Bleed is another great one. Our buddy John was mentioning Miss You. I was saying Beast of Burden. Are there any other Stone songs that come to mind when you think about like great drums?
Well, I love like the groove and Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh yeah.
Just it's so simple. Like, he's not doing much, but you throw the bongos on there. You got it's just laying it, like, just the sweetest groove in the pocket. You know, I've seen the Stones live a few times. And you know, it's one of those things. Obviously the last few times that I've checked them out, you know, they're getting up there in the age, man. You know, like, Mick's still doing it. Mick's still running around 2 miles a show, but the rest of them, you know, it's getting pretty rough. But it's a shame to lose Charlie, and you know, hopefully the show will go on. I think they're planning on continuing. So as long as Mick's running around 2 miles, that band's going around the world. So definitely a shame. What a legend! Like, he's definitely a true legend of drumming and music. And with that, like, you know, the OG, man, he was there when they were like, you know, rock was just Southern United States, and it meant nothing. You know, it was country fairs and nothing. And the Beatles and the Rolling Stones changed everything. They changed the game for everyone, everywhere. So true legend. It's a shame. So many hits. Do yourself a favor this weekend. Go Spotify, deep dive into some stuff. There's I was watching tons of good Stones footage. There's so much on YouTube, like, through the years. Like, you can watch something from every decade in high quality, sounds amazing. So everybody in audio, video land, check out some stuff on the Stones this weekend. Relive some of the glory days of a true OG band. And man, it's sad, but, you know, we got to keep trucking.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because growing up, I obviously knew the Stones from hearing them on the radio constantly because when we were growing up. They were always on the radio, still are. But I wasn't a huge Rolling Stones fan. I've always been a Beatles fan from the get-go. I've always been a Beatles guy. I didn't really love the Stones growing up, but then somewhere in my 20s, I clicked with them. My early 20s, mid 20s, I started to click with the Rolling Stones. I started to understand them and their music, and just ever since then, I've been a big Rolling Stones fan. It's actually been a while since I've dug in and listened to some of their records, but there's no better time than now, like you're saying. With Charlie passing away, there's no better time to go back and listen to some of those hit records. My favorite records: Sticky Fingers, Let It Bleed, Beggar's Banquet. The list goes on. Charlie Watts. I found it funny though that he didn't play the groove on "You Can't Always Get What You Want." Their producer, Jimmy Miller, played it. Actually, I knew that before, but I read it again yesterday. I guess Charlie just couldn't get the beat with that song, so their producer played on it instead. And I think that there might be more. Rolling Stones fans, let us know. I'm sure you do know. Yeah. There might be more, but that might be one of the only songs he didn't play on.
That's crazy. That's such a cool fact. You know what I mean? Like, but he did play on a ton of good.
Yeah, I know. I was just that one song he didn't play. Come on.
Yeah.
What the hell?
No. Come on. I'm sure there's. You know what? I'm sure there's others. I'm sure there's other ones
for sure.
They have their catalog so deep, man. Like I'm sure there's one that squeaked by that. Someone was sitting in on.
Yeah.
That's sad, man. This has been a sad episode, but
I know
all of these people should be recognized for their contributions to the world of rock and roll.
We couldn't do a show called the Rock Squad, a rock music news show, without talking about some of the most legendary musicians in rock and roll. So that kind of goes along with the territory, and we're really, 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 really sad, and our condolences go out to Charlie Watts' family, his friends, his fans, his bandmates. Not that they care what we think, but condolences to them. And listen to some Stones this weekend. Listen to Dave and listen to some